The distress beacon pierced through subspace like a scream in the void. Susan Martinez stood on the bridge of the Terran Vanguard, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the dying Velkari colony world of Thessia Prime. The insectoid Velkari were a peaceful species, known throughout the galaxy for their art and philosophy. Now their world burned under the assault of the Krathic Dominion. "Commander, we're receiving multiple casualty reports." Lucas Chen called from the communication station, his jaw clenched tight. "The Krathics have already glassed 3 of their major cities. Estimated civilian deaths, over 2 million. Susan's hands gripped the armrest of her command chair. The rest of the Galactic Council had debated for 3 standard days while the Krathics slaughtered innocents. 3 days of diplomatic protocols and cautious deliberations. 3 days too long? How long until the fleet arrives? She asked. 18 minutes to optimal firing position, Lucas replied. The Beijing, Lagos, and Sao Paulo are in formation. Carrier Group Midway is deploying fighter screens now. The other species in the Galactic Council had always looked at humanity with a mixture of fascination and horror. Humans came from Earth, what the galaxy classified as a Class 12 death world, a planet where everything, from the weather to the wildlife, seemed designed to kill its inhabitants. Most sapient species evolved on gentle worlds with stable climates and docile fauna. Earth had hurricanes, earthquakes, apex predators, and microscopic organisms that could kill in hours. It had forged humanity into something the galaxy had never seen before. Susan remembered the first council meeting she'd attended, fresh from the academy. The Velkari ambassador had asked with genuine curiosity why human military vessels carried so many weapons. The delicate insectoid couldn't comprehend why a species would need railguns, missile batteries, laser arrays, and kinetic bombardment systems all on the same ship. Because sometimes, Susan had replied, one weapon isn't enough. The ambassador had clicked its mandibles in confusion. On Velkar, conflicts were resolved through consensus and artistic debate. The concept of overwhelming firepower was alien to them. Now, as Susan watched the tactical display, she understood the weight of what Earth represented. Humanity wasn't the strongest species. The mighty Thornak could lift vehicles with their bare hands. Humanity wasn't the smartest. The crystalline Zenthari had brains that operated on quantum levels. Humans weren't the fastest or the most numerous, but humans were the most stubborn, the most adaptable, and the most terrifyingly creative when it came to warfare. All ships, battle stations, Susan commanded. Her voice echoed through the fleet's synchronized channels. ROE is weapons-free on all Krathic military targets. Priority 1, protect civilian population centers. Priority 2, eliminate the Krathic orbital platforms. Priority 3, make them regret ever hearing the name humanity. Across the fleet, 23 Terran warships moved into attack formation. They were outnumbered. The Krathic fleet had 46 vessels surrounding Thessia Prime. But numbers had never been humanity's advantage. Lucas pulled up the tactical overview. Commander, the Krathics are hailing us. They're demanding we withdraw or face destruction. Susan allowed herself a cold smile. Tell them that Earth doesn't negotiate with genocidal maniacs. And Lucas? Make sure they understand we're not asking for their surrender. What are we doing, then? We're informing them of their immediate future. The Krathic War Master's face appeared on the view screen, a reptilian species with silver scales and eyes like chips of amber. He hissed through his translator. Foolish humans, you are outnumbered. Your pathetic fleet cannot hope to— Cut transmission, Susan ordered. She had no interest in villain monologues. The Terran Vanguard shuddered as its main railgun array powered up. Across the fleet, weapons systems that had been refined through centuries of human conflict, from ancient naval warfare to the brutal battles of the expansion era, came online. Firing solution locked, Lucas announced. All ships report ready. Execute Operation Thunderstrike. What happened next would be analyzed by military academies across the galaxy for decades. The human fleet didn't charge blindly into battle. They fought like Earth had taught them, with precision, overwhelming force, and zero mercy for those who targeted civilians. The Vanguard's railguns spoke first, accelerating tungsten penetrators to a fraction of light speed. 3 Krathic destroyers simply ceased to exist, their shields meaningless against weapons that hit with the kinetic energy of small nuclear warheads. The carrier group launched wave after wave of fighters, small, agile craft piloted by humans who'd grown up playing competitive simulation games that were more complex than most species' actual military training. Lucas coordinated the assault with a conductor's precision, his fingers dancing across holographic controls, missile batteries firing. Target their orbital platforms, don't let them bombard the surface cities. The Krathiks tried to regroup, tried to bring their superior numbers to bear. But human doctrine didn't believe in fair fights. Every Terran captain had studied Sun Tzu, Clausewitz, and a dozen other military philosophers from Earth's bloody history. They used the planet's gravity well for slingshot maneuvers, deployed electronic warfare that blinded Krathic sensors, and coordinated attacks with a synchronization that seemed almost telepathic. Within 40 minutes, the Krathic fleet was in full retreat. Susan watched their flagship limp away, trailing atmosphere and debris. She opened a channel to the Velkari government bunker below. "This is Commander Martinez of the Terran fleet. The Krathiks have been neutralized. Medical ships are inbound to assist with casualties. Engineering Corps will help with reconstruction." The Velkari planetary governor appeared on screen, his compound eyes shimmering with emotion. "Commander, we called for help days ago. The council said they needed time to consider, but you came. We came because it was right," Susan replied simply, "and because we remember what it's like to watch innocents die while bureaucrats debate." Lucas looked over at her, something like pride in his expression. "Commander, we're receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. The other council species are shocked. They're calling it excessive force." Susan leaned back in her chair, suddenly exhausted. Earth had joined the Galactic Council hoping to be partners in a peaceful cosmos. Instead, they'd become the galaxy's guardians, the ones who did what others couldn't or wouldn't. "Let them call it whatever they want," she said quietly. "We're Deathworlders. We know the cost of hesitation. We know what happens when good people do nothing." She paused, looking out at the stars. "And we'll never apologize for protecting those who can't protect themselves." In the silence of the bridge, the crew of the Terran Vanguard understood the truth that would define humanity's role among the stars. Sometimes, the galaxy didn't need diplomats or philosophers. Sometimes it needed Deathworlders.